What's up, guys? So Bluetti sent me this nice power generator, power station to try out while I'm in the woods. So let's see what it does. So I am powering right now, guys, an 80 quart refrigerator and freezer combo. This is a 12 volt refrigerator and I'm running it out of the DC cigarette outlet on the Bluetti. I also have a solar panel, a 100 watt solar panel coming in. Let me see if I can get the display up here. It looks like 35 watts currently output to the refrigerator. We have 67 watts coming in from the solar panel. The charge is 99%, so it's basically fully charged. We have more power coming in than we need. Now, if I jump over to the app really quick, let me see what that looks like. Log it in here to the Bluetti app. I do have signal actually, but I'm gonna go with offline mode. It's gonna see my device here. I'm gonna click on the device, and here it's gonna show me my input from solar power right now is 65 watts. It's smoky out there, guys. That Canadian wildfires has blown smoke down here into Colorado, so we're not getting the full 100 watts. And then output DC, we've got 38 watts going to the refrigerator, so we're still positive as far as power flow goes. Really cool to see the app and how it monitors the power. Well, I've got the fire going out there, the sun's going down. This fridge has been running all day, several hours. And if you look over here at the Bluetti, we're still 98%. There's very little power coming in because the sun is almost going down, and what is there is covered up with smoke. The fridge isn't running, so there's no output right now. But you can see we've been running all day, no problem. What is going on, you guys? I am out here in the forest doing a little camping so that I can test and review this Bluetti power station. This is their EB3A. It's kind of an entry level or starter level portable power station, solar power station. So I've been checking it out. Right now, it's middle of the night, but right now I am camped out in the forest of Colorado. This is the national forest out here a long ways from power, and all the lighting that you see right now, it's middle of the night, guys, but all of the lighting that you see is being powered right now from the Bluetti. All right. Also, I've been putting it through the test all day previously, and I'm going to continue to use it tomorrow to really get a feel for how this thing works in the field. Now, disclaimer, Bluetti did send this to me to put in a video and to review, and I was super excited to hear about it because I have some other power stations. I even have some videos on how to put together your own DIY solar generator. This one, though, has a 600 watt sine wave power inverter. Okay, so it's a 600 watt inverter that's good to use for electronics, for things like laptops, TVs, electronics that are more sensitive to the power requirements. That is what you need. What's even cooler than a 600 watt inverter is the fact that you can put this thing into a powerlifting mode. And that supposedly, and I haven't tried it, but what that's going to do is give you 1200 watts of power inversion. Okay, so for some of the more power hungry devices out there, I'm going to probably try an electric kettle. I've been running my fridge off of it, and this little device supposedly is going to give us a lot of power. So I'm ready to play around and see how it works. Before we dive into that, and before I get into some of the usage, let's look at their website. Let's go to bluetti.com, or I'm sorry, bluettipower.com, and take a look at the specifications of this device. All right, so if we come over here to their website, and again, bluettipower.com, and I'm going to come here, it's the Bluetti EB3A, 600 watt, like I said, inverter. However, that can double to 1200 watts if you need it. Now, when you double it to 1200, you no longer get that pure sine wave, okay? It's a rougher signal, but it's good to use if needed. And guys, this battery has 268 watt hours. And I don't know exactly what that conversion rate is. I think that's probably around 25 amp hours. If somebody else can do the calculations or knows better, leave it in the comments for sure, let us know. But in the meantime, let's click here into the specifications. So currently they're running a special, $239. And guys, I will have a link in the description below. There's a 10% discount. I think there's a 10% discount. If not, I apologize. And it's an affiliate link. So a small kickback does come back to the channel, and appreciated if you use it. All right, so there we go. Couldn't find the clicker. All right, so here we go. Here is the Bluetti EB3A. And what we have is a 600 watt pure sine wave inverter, which I've been talking about. That's really cool. 268 watt hour capacity. To me, that's the only downside I've seen so far, is that it's not a huge capacity. It's one of their smaller models, right, for portable power. And my only want might be, if I'm going to run a lot of stuff, I might look at a little more time, or a little more watt hours, sorry. All right, 430 watt max fast dueling charging. This thing, guys, it does charge quickly. If you plug it into the wall, it's going to charge in about 2 hours, I think it is, something like that. It charges extremely quickly. If you have 200 watts of solar power, it's going to charge in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. With a 100 watt solar panel like I'm running out there, it takes about 4 hours to charge fully. So very quick charging, and it has pass through so that you can continue to use it even if you're charging up. Here's the battery, 6 ways to recharge. Is it recharge or recharge? Recharge or recharge? 9 outputs. So guys, let's look at those for a second here. So here's that front interface, guys. If I hit one of these buttons, it's going to bring up the display. And this display, by far, is the nicest display I've ever had on a solar power or a solar generator. And from what I've read online, this is a big improvement over what Bluetti has used in the past. So I love that it shows you input, output. Right now we're doing 39 watts to power the lighting behind us, and there's no power in. But it shows you estimated hours left if you're going to run it at this power level. How long do you have? Percentage of battery life, things like that. All right, so if I wanted to use DC, which is right here, that's cigarette lighter, USBs, and 12 volt direct, I'm going to push that button and the light turns green. That's going to leave the DC outlets on until I don't need them. Now, there is an econo mode. If you look, eco mode, economy mode. If no power is used for 4 hours, this device is going to shut off on its own. Over here, we've got, what is this? Oh, these are inputs, sorry. So this is your input from the wall. This is your input from the solar panel, and a circuit breaker or a fuse, just in case things get overloaded. Now over here on the AC side, this is that pure sine inverter we've been talking about, but we have 2 standard wall plugs. So when you look at all of these devices, or all these inputs and outputs, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the one I haven't talked about is the one on top, you guys. Wireless charging for the phone, so you can simply set your cell phone up here and charge wirelessly if it can. Most phones do. That's number 9. So you have 9 outputs for power. Also, guys, there is a light, standard little high, low, or low high, SOS. Pretty standard little setup. Also, not that useful, I found. It's a pretty concentrated beam, so it's almost like you would have to hold this thing as a flashlight and turn it around. If it was some bright diffused light that was very wide angled that you could use, it would be a little bit more useful. Super nice with all the outputs, smart control and monitor and Bluetti app. Guys, this is a really cool part of this. I've never had another power generator that uses an app, and the Bluetti has that. So let me jump on the app real quick, and I'll show you just a couple things and how it looks. Okay, here is the Bluetti app. I am just going to go down to the offline mode. You can see that the device here is available, the EB3A, and then a whole bunch of numbers. And this is the main screen, and what this shows you is how much power is being used, how much power is coming in, and you can see that the battery life in the middle here is at 72%, and that on the bottom right we have 40 watts of power coming out through AC, which is the plug I have for lighting. Down below, you can see I have DC and AC both turned on. I could turn those off from here if I wanted to. And then right in the middle, below the picture of the device itself, is a power button. You can power off the entire unit, but then to power it back on, you would have to go to the device and actually push the power button on the device itself. In the top right, you see the little gear. That's the settings button or settings tab. So if I click that, we're going to come into a few different settings that we have control over. Charging mode, there's standard, silent, turbo. I've always used standard and really haven't played around with them. The turbo charging only saves you about 15 minutes, so I don't really see the advantage there, but maybe one of you guys can tell me why. So if you look, guys, second down to the bottom here, powerlifting, this is the one that if you select that, you're now going to be able to run devices up to 1200 watts instead of 600 watts. So when I use the electric kettle in a little bit, I'm going to be testing it out with powerlifting. Well, guys, 2 days in to using the Bluetti out here, first time using it, and really impressed so far. Not only could I run the refrigerator, my lighting, all the recharging of devices and phones, things like that, but also this morning I used this to make coffee with an electric kettle. Guys, it is morning time and I am ready for some coffee. So I'm going to plug the Joule in here to my Bluetti power supply. I've got 2 cups of water, so let's see how long it takes to boil. Here we go. And it looks like it's pulling 497 watts, so that is just right in line with where it's supposed to be. This is a 268 watt hour battery. It took 20% of my battery to boil that water in 3 or 4 minutes. It just drained it quick. So it works well, but no, you're gonna need some power. So as my final takeaway here, guys, before I wrap the video up, I'm gonna end with 2 cons that I found, 2 potential negatives, and then also 2 pluses that I found to be hugely beneficial. So con number 1, and I already stated it before, is that flashlight. Doesn't really serve much purpose, it's just kind of there. Number 2 is battery life. The size of this battery is going to be perfect for a day trip where you have a lot of devices, or a short camping trip where you don't have huge power demands. But that's going to be about all you're getting out of this. If you are going to run a refrigerator and open and close it all the time, plus all sorts of other stuff in the camp, you probably want to have a little bit of a bigger battery than 268 watt hours. That's the only takeaway. Know what the capability is. The 2 pluses that I found are, first of all, the fact that you can run 1200 watts of power. That's a huge inverter for such a small size. I love that. Number 2 is going to be the displays, both on the front here as well as the app. You have really easy access to how much power there is, how much estimated time is left in the battery if I'm running at a current load. To me, that's a huge positive. So, all in all, great experience. I highly suggest checking them out. Like I say, there's links in the description if you'd want to go look for yourself. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Stay safe. Bye.